Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us all over the world. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show, the last one for the week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Tonight on the show, we will be talking about the CAF Confederation Cup, the chances of Nigeria's sole representative, the Aba Elephants, talking about Enyimba. We will also be looking at what will go down in the English Premier League, talking about the third round of the English FA Cup. We will also be looking at the Spanish Super Cup, the first El Clasico of 2025, Real Madrid and Barcelona, and a whole lot more, even as we are looking towards the first Grand Slam of the year. That's the outlook of the show. It's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Okonakwan is suited and ready as we go along on this ride.
Spotted greetings to you, Yemi, and of course everyone joining us on the show tonight. Always an action-packed world of sports. Yes, we cannot wait for the weekend action. The Spanish Super Cup. Real Madrid, they look good. Can they avenge that 4-0 embarrassing defeat in October? We'll get to see when they file out against Barcelona. I cannot wait for that one. Enyimba, they seem to be doing good for themselves. Beating Nasarawa United is the sort of form they need as they get ready for another CAF Confederation game against Al-Masry on Sunday. So let's see what that win in the rescheduled match day 17 game will do for Enyimba when they file out against Al-Masry. So much going on in our world of sports. Thank God it's Friday. Means we're getting into a weekend of sporting action, Yemi.
Yeah, let me just quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio, Babajide, or whoever joins us now. Babajide, greetings to you. Thanks for finding time to be with us on the show this lovely Friday evening.
Yeah, thank you, Yemi. Happy New Year once again. And very packed weekend. Say the Confederations Cup, and of course the El Clasico in Jeddah. I know it's going to be a big weekend.
It is. It is a lot to choose from. Charity begins at home, so we'll start from home now and talk about the Aba Elephants, who don't have their destiny in their own hands, but sports has taught us a lot of lessons, so we'll see. All right, Joseph Asewe joins us also on the show. He joins us virtually. Greetings to you, Joseph. Thanks for finding time to be with us on the show tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Yemi, and of course, good evening, Austin. Good evening to everybody watching at the moment. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for always, bringing me on the show, and I'm ready to talk sport. Let's talk sport. So much to talk about as far as this weekend is concerned.
All right, let's move straight into it. I'll go across in a bit to talk about the Aba Elephants, Enyimba. If you had wanted any team to represent Nigeria, it will be the Aba Elephants, and they're there, but not doing so well. Also, let me just quickly get your thoughts. I don't know. I'm very reluctant to speak because I might just be repeating the things I've said. I didn't want them to be in this situation, but it is what it is.
And they need to find a way to get out of the situation. That's football where anything can happen. They seem to have some sparks now, thanks to Brownie there and the sort of inspiration he has been to the team since he joined. He scored his second goal for the club in that rescheduled fixture against Nasarawa United. Enyimba won by 2-1. That's the sort of form we want to take into Sunday's game against Al-Masry. In that game, they must be clinical. When you get chances, you must take them, because these North Africans seem to know how to, catch Enyimba on the break, and punish them. Enyimba cannot afford, I repeat, they cannot afford to lose or drop points in this game, because if they do, that makes it very difficult for them. Highlight from the first down from the win against Black Bulls, clinical finish from Super Eagles player Brownie there, and that's the sort of player you want in the team. Was in the right position, took out the goalkeeper with 2 touches on the ball, boom, finished it off so nice and easy. Enyimba went on to win that one 4-1. It wasn't just a result, it was a significant result because it cancelled that 3-0 deficit that they suffered in Maputo. Joseph Atule also with a fine display. He should have buried this one easy. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. You cannot have this sort of chances and don't bury them. But he went on to, atone for his sins scored the win, the fourth goal to conclude his brace in that one. But I mean, Babajide, you agree with me? In this sort of competition, when you're in a desperate situation, when you get this sort of opportunities, you must take them.
Very wasteful in that game against Black Bulls. I expected that 4-1 wasn't the result. It didn't reflect what happened. Enyimba played very well, but very wasteful. And you don't do that against an Egyptian team like Al-Masry. And remember, they are taking on Zamalek in the next game. So it's going to be a very difficult one if they drop points. Go there on Sunday and get all 3 points in Uyo. I hope Atule will just not miss chance. Yes, he has been scoring, but against Black Bulls, he had very clear-cut chances, begging chances. It was until the day he came in that they were able to now settle to begin, and that's why experience. That's how the experience comes in. But I feel now you don't have a choice. There are no more chances. The only chance you have now is to get all 3 points in Uyo on Sunday, and then when you go to Egypt against Zamalek, then try to get the result. But you must get all 3 points on Sunday.
All right, they must get all 3 points. Before I bring Joseph in, let me just go across now and talk about it. Even though Babajide has situated it properly for us, I mean, what needs to be done, the Aba Elephants need to win their 2 matches and hope that something happens from the other side that will make them qualify. As it stands, mathematically, all the 4 teams can still qualify. But mathematics is different from what really happens. So let me just quickly go across now and just look at it. Babajide said it's going to be difficult if they don't win. It's already difficult. It's not going to be difficult. It is already difficult. And so they are condemned to win against Al-Masry, and they will be hoping that Zamalek does them a favor, maybe wins this one. And so I'm already using calculators now. So maybe by the time they're playing on March day 6, Zamalek has already qualified and probably will not be needing anything. So they need to win, and they need things to go their way as well. All right, so that's the situation. On Sunday, we're hoping there will be victory. So next week when we come, we'll be talking about a win for Enyimba and possibly progression, hopefully be in line for progression to the quarterfinal. So just let me come to you quickly. Realistically, we are where we are, 4 points out of possible 12. Do you see Enyimba qualifying? That's the question. I know it's difficult, but do you see a scenario where, I know 10 points should be enough, but as optimistic as I am, I'm not sure they can make it 10 by getting 2 wins. So do you see them qualifying?
It's going to be very difficult for them to qualify, no doubt about that. And truth be told, I feel like losing or drawing the last game was a big problem for these guys. Going into that game on Sunday, all they need to do now is to win. They win, they have 7 points. And you see, the problem here is that Zamalek takes on they take on Black Bulls, and because of the issue in Maputo, they have adopted a new ground, which is Egypt. And they'll be playing in Zamalek. So it's like Zamalek is playing home at home or home away from home, which is a problem. So automatically, we are looking at this table and we are saying Zamalek are true. Nigeria's Enyimba fails to beat Al-Masry, which is a very difficult team to play anytime, any day. Austin and, of course, my brothers, a very difficult team to play. So I feel like Enyimba, all they need is an outright win. But truth be told, I feel like they will settle for a draw in that game because, as I said earlier, Al-Masry is a very difficult team and they know what is at stake. They want to qualify. We missed it in game 2 where we didn't win. We should have won that game, but then this is a horrendous tax for them. Anything aside they win, it's all over.
All right, I like the way Joseph put it. Anything aside they win is all over. Let's just not waste time. This is wishing the Aba Elephants all the best. All right, so let's leave the little matter of the CAF Confederation because we have a lot lined up for your viewing pleasure tonight. Let's talk about the Spanish Super Cup taking place in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is now a place where all sorts of big sporting events take place. I'm very sure we're going to flip it. Yeah, we've done that already. Behind you, Super Copa de España, Sunday's fixture. Real Madrid against Barcelona. Austin referenced it earlier. Real Madrid will want to show the world that the 4-0 defeat against Barcelona was just a blip. They would want to do that. And Barcelona as well would also want to show that we are on top of our game. We can beat these guys anytime, anywhere. So we want to see what happens with that one. So also let me yield to you. I mean, as a neutral, this is what you want to see. Good. I mean, these two teams any day. You will want to wake up whatever time the game will be played to see this game, and it means a lot for Hansi Flick. First opportunity to get a trophy under his belt. For Carlo Ancelotti, the only thing in this one is you can lose to anybody, but don't lose to Barcelona. But he has won everything that needs to be won in modern day football.
And that's the message he said to his team yesterday, that look, this is Barcelona, we're playing on a neutral ground. You need to prove a point, prove that we are a better team than Barcelona. We know Barcelona, when they see Real Madrid, irrespective of their previous form, they just catch fire. The good news for Real Madrid is that Jude Bellingham is back. Valverde is also back in the team. So Carlo Ancelotti will love those options that he's got. But Barcelona, they're just hoping that they will get out there and, see how they can catch Real Madrid on the counter and take their chances. They might just go back, watch everything that they did in October, where things just went their way and they, ran with a 4-0 win. It's a good game for them, and they think that they can actually do it again. When you look at the head-to-head, in their history, Real Madrid, they have recorded 106 wins playing Barcelona. They've recorded 101 wins and 51 draws. So you can tell with the statistics that both sides are competitive, and when they meet themselves, it can go anywhere. So as a neutral, when you do this sort of analysis, you're safe when you just stay in the middle, because anything can happen and it can go anywhere. I love the fact that this one is played on a neutral ground. They're playing in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. That's the new destination for sports. So let's see. They're both super power, but for Barcelona and what they're suffering with their transfer, they will be beating themselves. No Dani Olmo, no Pau in this one. I think Andres Christensen is also still injured. So Hansi Flick would just be, hoping that the players that he will file out will come out, give 100%, and go out there to win the Spanish Super Cup. But definitely, what I know and what I can tell you, wherever you're watching us, we're going to see beautiful football on Sunday.
Yeah, we all hope so. All right, let me just briefly get your thoughts on this one. First, El Clasico of the year. Where do you think the pendulum will swing?
Well, Austin stated something. 106 wins for Real Madrid, 101 for Barcelona. It says a lot about the rivalry and, what it means for the fans and, of course, the players when these two teams meet, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Now, 14 titles when it comes to the Super Cup for Barcelona, if I'm correct. I think 13 for Real Madrid. Barcelona, it might be a revenge mission. If you recall last year, when the Super Cup was played, they were humiliated by Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior got a hat-trick, and I think it was Rodrigo, if I'm correct, that also got that fourth goal for Real Madrid in that we're making it 4-1. It might be a revenge mission for Barcelona, to, of course, clinch the 15th title, leaving Madrid with 13, or Madrid comes into this one. But then, if you give your analysis when it comes to games like this, when it comes to sport, it has to be on current form. Look at both teams. I feel like it might sound funny, I feel like it's going to be Real Madrid all the way again because they are ready. Look at the preparation ahead of the Super Cup. These guys, you heard what Carlo Ancelotti also said, that they want to win. They want to make a statement. And he said something in Spanish. We always, keyword always, want to make a statement anytime we meet a bitter rival. Those words alone says a lot to the fans and how difficult that game will be for Barcelona. You pointed out no Dani Olmo, they're still having issues in registering him for the second half of the season. No Yemi Lambao, there are a lot of players out as we speak. And then again, Jude Bellingham is back for Real Madrid. So this is Madrid's game to lose. And honestly, I feel like Madrid will clinch this.
Yeah, before we get Babajide talking, let me just give a quick update on that. Danny Olmo and Paul Victor have been handed temporary registration, so they're available for that one. But Andres Christensen, I think, is injured, so he's not going to be available. So that's a good plus for Hansi Flick and his team. And Babajide, this is rivalry at its best, arguably the best teams in Spanish football history. It's the Spanish Super Cup final. They're going to Jeddah to show the world that they can play good football. Where are you putting your money?
Okay, so Austin, personally, I like the fact that this game is being taken to a neutral ground. The match is the 260th game involving these two sides, and you should imagine is the fiercest rivalry. I still feel is stronger than even the Merseyside derby, and I don't know, but I feel Hansi Flick will want to make a statement for Barcelona. You can't. The rivalry will always be there. As much as you want to stick to one team, you know definitely it's still Real Madrid and it's still Barcelona. Let's just enjoy the game, and let's see who wins.
All right, that'll be very interesting. So we'll see what happens. Big game on Sunday, big one for Enyimba as well. Before we go on a break, let's quickly take a look at the FA Cup. Run through the fixtures all for you. It's the third round of the FA Cup, and a lot of giant killers in cup competitions, and surely some teams will probably be going out. So let me just go across the screen, run you through some of the fixtures that you will be seeing. Manchester City will be playing against Salford City, a very, very small club, but owned by players from the other side. The Manchester United 5, Ryan Giggs, Gary Neville, David Beckham, Nicky Butt, and all of the Paul Scholes owning that club. Bristol City will be up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Liverpool will take on Accrington. Bournemouth will take on West Brom. Brentford will take on Plymouth. Chelsea will take on Morecambe. Norwich City will take on Brighton. Nottingham Forest will take on Luton Town. These are fixtures for Saturday in the FA Cup third round matches. On Sunday, the big one, Arsenal, the most successful team in the FA Cup, will take on Manchester United. Newcastle United will take on Bromley. Southampton will take on Swansea. Ipswich Town will take on Bristol Rovers. Crystal Palace will take on Stockport County. Then Tamworth will take on Tottenham. These matches will be played on Sunday. At the end of Sunday, some teams will definitely be out of this competition. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Let me just quickly yield to Austin. Are you expecting major upsets? For the ones that have two English Premier League sides going against each other, you know one will be out. But for the top sides in England against the small teams, nowadays people wanting to win cups, do you still see giant killers, David Goliath situations in these matches?
I think with Southampton's form, Swansea can upset them. You know, Swansea not even a small team, and they understand how to play Premier League teams. Look, this is the upset cup. We say it all the time when the FA Cup comes, that if you blink, you start asking questions. And this is just the third round. You know, and the question everyone have been asking is, how did Manchester United and Arsenal end up in bed together
this early
in the third round? But hey, that's the luck of the draw, and I think some way somehow they put the big teams in one pot, and I just don't know how, you know, Manchester United, the current holders of the cup, you know, just ended up with Arsenal. But hey, to win a cup competition, you must go through the big teams and the small teams, and we'll get to see it, you know. So it's nothing that is new. We know that if teams don't give their best, they will definitely be asking questions, you know. Manchester City, for instance, are giving Salford, who is just their, you know, little neighbor, and they're saying, look, these guys can't do anything to us. We'll just use them, you know, to train and get the job done. But we've seen stranger things in the FA Cup, you know. So let's just hope that we'll see upset. You know, I love upset, so I can come back and say, oh, did I say that the small teams will win? And they did just that. Anyway, let's listen to Pep Guardiola. We love listening to him, but this time he's a bit humbled. He's, you know, speaking in low tones, but Salford shouldn't give Manchester City any problems. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola speaking ahead of that. Should we say little tiny clash against Salford City? Yeah, I know you get ready to listen to Arnold, but let me get Babajide talking. Babajide, yes, I know it will be a big upset if Manchester City don't beat Salford. But I'm looking at the fixtures. Those championship sides, they can actually cause problems for the Premier League teams.
Okay, I don't think so. It's more of one-sided fixtures, but I like the fact that this is the third round and the small teams can just take it then. But at the crucial stage, then you see the big boys take on the big boys. However, I'm concerned about Tottenham because they go to Stamford and that team can be very unpredictable. That's where I can't stake my but. However, the FA Cup, leave it or take it. Guardiola, I expect them to.
Nottingham Forest, Luton Town. It doesn't bother you?
Maybe, but I think Nottingham will just take Luton away. I don't think there's any upset in such a game.
Okay, I'm calling you fixtures that I know we might see upsets. So I'll remind you. Norwich City, Brighton.
That's good. No. Honestly, see, I've seen the fixtures again and again, and when you analyze some of these teams, you just see the big boys, the Premier League teams will definitely, most of the Premier League teams will make it through to the next round.
And some of these teams there are some of them that are ex-Premier League teams, so I really don't see Luton. I mean, a while back in the Premier League, yes. Norwich a while back in Premier League. Those are not the ones I'm calling the small teams. But if you're beginning to talk about Accrington, Morecambe, and all that, so all of that. So we'll see what happens in that one. And Liverpool will be in action as well. They're going to be up against Accrington. And their manager, Arnold, he's been saying a few words. He's handled most of his media duties well, and he hasn't really allowed the press put him in a corner. And I like the way he's been dealing with all the issues he's had to deal with. So let's listen to Arnold. We'll come back to talk some more on, of course, the FA Cup and the upcoming matches.
I think every team that plays against us, it's a special occasion for every team we face, but especially for a lower league team. So they will be all up for it. They've lived towards this game for many weeks, probably 9 out of 10 times. All players are fit. Then there's no one suspended. So and the challenge is always to bring the best out of ourselves. So I think everybody could understand that if you go to a Champions League final, everyone is completely hyped up and ready, and that is for them today. Tomorrow it's going to feel as if it's the Champions League final. So we have to be aware of that. And 9 out of 10 times then the first 25 minutes, half hour is the most difficult part of the game, because they will still be very intense. And it's up to us to be ready for them, wanting to play the best game of their lives. And that is what we have to do as well.
All right, Arnold sharing his thoughts ahead of the game against Accrington. Well, of course, pick up the pack has to be Arsenal and Manchester United. And the question is, which of the teams will want it more? Both have had, contrasting fortunes, and also things have not gone their way in recent times, although you could say one team has done better than the other if you're looking at the league table. So let me just quickly go to Joseph Atewe now. Manchester United, Arsenal, that will be on Sunday. Who do you think, which of the two teams do you think will want it more?
Well, quite unfortunate that these teams are meeting at this point. Arsenal, the most successful when it comes to this competition. Manchester United, the defending champion. It just gives you an headache, thinking of who would scale through, knowing fully well that Arsenal defeated Manchester United in the league, and that really did go down well with Ruben Amorim, the coach of Manchester United, talking tough. For Arsenal, there is injury worries as we speak for the team. Bukayo Saka out in one day. They brought in to replace Saka is also injured as we speak. Arsenal trying to, get their players ready for different competitions. I believe to an extent, Mikel Arteta a little bit confused. Is he sticking with the league, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, or the FA Cup? But for Manchester United, there is something. They want to win something. They want to make a statement. The pressure is enough, to give you an headache, as I said earlier. And Ruben Amorim knows at this point that, every single competition, every game matters now to all Manchester United fans because they have to win trust. The same way analysed, the Newcastle-Arsenal game, saying that Newcastle was going to defeat Arsenal, is the same way I believe Manchester United will beat Arsenal because United knows that the pressure on them at this point is more than enough and they have to win every single game. So United to defeat Arsenal for me.
Oh, that's a bold prediction. Babajide, a quick response before I yield the floor to Austin. Arsenal, Man United, what do you think? Which team do you think will want it more?
Yeah, both teams will want it. But however, if you look at the last few results, Arsenal have won the last 4 meetings, and I don't see Manchester United keep struggling, especially in the attack. They know they need the new striker. I hope Rashford will come out of his shell. I just know something is actually missing in that Red Devil forward. If they can get the goals, if they can push up front, possibly. But however, I don't see Manchester United winning the game. I feel the Gunners will actually, sadly for the Manchester United fans, but I think Arsenal will win the game.
Let me to Austin. I mean, you will probably know this better than the rest of us. Mikel Arteta answering questions angered some of the fans by indicating that he might not necessarily get players in this transfer window, and that if he will get players, it will be a player that would dramatically influence teams for his team. While a lot of the fans believe your team is already in problem, you're beginning to lose matches, and they're wondering where the confidence is coming from. And most of these players are injured. Why will you, if you're really interested in winning trophies, not want to buy players? And so that's why I said you probably know these things more than we do. Maybe he has some players that he's going to promote into the first team. I don't know, but that's the word on the street. A lot of people are, questioning some of his responses to the questions he's being asked.
But he had to be sincere, because he has spent money from last season, and some of those players are still yet to, click into the team. And he is the manager. He knows his budget, and he said it clearly. Unless we are bringing a reformer who is going to come in, get into the business, and turn things around, where are you going to get that sort of player from the general transfer window? It's difficult, particularly the fact that he's got a big team that is trying to still see how they can play together. Mikel Merino is one of them. Needs to really get into the team, and do his beats. I think to an extent, even Enyimba and quite a couple of Arsenal players need to just, get into that team play and see how they can turn things around. Now you have a small Saka. I call him small because he's still young, but so influential. Saka is not in the team and Arsenal is struggling. So the fans need to calm down and take a look at, the additions that have come into the team and see ways that they can work together and win. For instance, the game against Everton, I referenced it yesterday. Everton were at their lowest, but Arsenal couldn't win that game. The game against Fulham, couldn't win that game. So there are some matches you play, as a team, it just affects you all round. So, let's say the board gives Mikel Arteta, they tell him to take 100 million. Who is he going to bring in January that will boom come into the team and start making an impact? It's going to be difficult. It might even drop the morale of the other guys who are trying to just pick up and get back into the team. So I completely understand where he's going, because everyone feels when the team is not doing well, all you need to do is buy. No, sometimes you need to tweak the mindset of the guys in the team and let them know that they need to step up and start getting the results. Let's talk about the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year. Tennis season is back again. The Grand Slam season, we love it so much. And it starts with the Australian Open. What a story. Novak Djokovic, he has won in Melbourne 10 times and looking for a record-extending 11th title. He didn't have it so good last season that he's looking forward to changing it this season. But my guy did an interview with GQ magazine, and Yemi and Babajide and Joseph, he alleged while he was detained in 2022 for refusing to produce his COVID vaccination, he alleged that they poisoned him, that the meal that they gave to him was poisoned. Now that has generated some mixed reaction. Australian border force, they have not come out to say anything, but I think that it's not the right time for Djokovic to come out and make such allegations. He didn't go further, but now you're coming into the Australian Open and you're hoping to, give the guys like Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alvarez a run for their money, and now you're being distracted by the media. It's all good. Let's listen to Djokovic. The boss is still the boss.
We're just still getting to know each other on the court. We spend 8 days in the preseason period, and now last 4 days here in Melbourne, and it gives me motivation, inspires me really to be spending time on the court, and we communicate a lot. We talk about a lot of different things. He's trying to understand me on different levels, speaking to other team members that know me better, and so he's very meticulous. He's very dedicated, professional. So far I've been enjoying this collaboration. To be honest, I don't know much about him. I watched him play yesterday actually for the first time. I think he's playing semifinals of New Zealand tournament now. So, I saw that he's very quick. He's a very talented player. He's got great hands. He's very dynamic. He can serve well his spots and just very completed game overall. It's going to be his, I guess, first time in, main draw of the Grand Slam, wild card, playing on the center court. So, not much to lose. I'm sure that he is going to be really pumped to make a statement, and I have to obviously approach that match very seriously, like any other, and do my best to get a win, and also in the process enjoy the nice moment of sharing the court with him.
Do you have any evidence linking your...
Yeah, that was the question that was coming up. Do you have any evidence linking your claims that your food was poisoned in Melbourne in 2022? Babajide, Novak Djokovic, salute to him, respect, and he has brought Andy Murray to his coaching team. But if you look at everything that has been happening from last year with tennis, the name I miss, Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner, Alex van der Zverev, which is one of my favorites. Do you think Djokovic can win again in Melbourne?
Okay, so I didn't like the fact that he's coming out to say, he was poisoned, his food. He should have said it before now, but however, you need to give it to him. He's still one of the biggest, and I feel he's a favorite to still win it. He's going in for his 11th title in Australia. So, and of course, two-time Olympic champion Andy Murray is his trainer, so you expect him to go all the way. However, kudos to the organizers, 128 participants in this time around, so you expect to see beautiful tennis around in Australia this year. So, good one.
Yeah, good one. I'm going to bring Joseph in on this, and we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about Djokovic. That's what we're going to do till we'll wrap things up on the show. I'm thinking, I like people who stick to their principles. I like principled people. But as a tennis fan, I'm like, what if he had just taken that vaccine, played at the Australian Open, won the Grand Slam? He wouldn't be in this desperate position now. Because he's facing young guys now who don't have respect for him,
anybody,
who know how good he is, but just want to beat him. I mean, some will even prefer to beat Djokovic and not even win the Grand Slam title. That's how big Novak is for some of them. And Austin mentioned it. Look, Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, those two are playing on a level that Djokovic will need to have that edge to be really
a Gen Z level,
to really beat those two. So I mean, just let me ask you. I mean, just as a neutral now, looking at that year that Novak refused to take that vaccine, made his point, and now he's coming out to say it was poisoned. I mean, was all of that needed? Should he have just played? Now probably will have gotten, he will have surpassed Margaret Court and all the things that he wanted to achieve. Do you think it was all worth it?
Well, I think that is very responsible of Novak Djokovic. With due respect, I feel like there are rules and which we must, obey. To be honest with you, if I'm coming to your house to tell me, Joseph, you must put your shoe outside, do not take them in, I have to respect them because I'm coming to your home. The rules were there. It was a COVID year, and the Australian government had let you know that you have to be vaccinated before you come to the country. You cannot get there and think because you're Djokovic, you can do whatever you want to do. And aside that, they kept him in an hotel. They kept him in isolation for some days or I think a week or thereabouts, and you still refused before you were deported. You see, the issue of being poisoned there, I feel like the Australian, the organizers knows what they're doing. They want to lay low. They want to keep that not to, spoil the fun of the Australian Open. After the Australian Open, I believe these things will be raised again, but that was totally irresponsible for him to have done that. And again, you look at Novak Djokovic coming into this competition, 10-time champion of this competition. Would he have equaled Margaret Court's record? Yes, he would, because after the COVID incident, he lost some finals, if I'm correct in that one. And when I said irresponsible of Novak Djokovic, even when he was deported, you can Google, there were videos of him, organizing a party where he hosted some persons, and days after, these guys went on to test positive for COVID. If you're an ambassador at this level, you should leave a good example. So I feel like Novak Djokovic, well, a lot of us who are his fans, were disappointed with his action in Australia in 2020, but going into this competition, he still, unfortunately, remains the hot favorite.
All right. But also let me say this. I don't know why I disagree with people who say is a hot favorite. Yes, you can't bet against him winning. But if recent results, let's not forget, this is a guy who wouldn't win a Grand Slam in 2024. He has to be said. The 4 Grand Slams in 2024 was shared between Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. That must be said. He is the most successful player when it comes to the turf at the Australian Open. I agree. But to say that he comes to the Australian Open as the man to beat and maybe is head and shoulders above Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner, I tend to disagree. It's my own personal opinion. I tend to disagree. I know that he's a favorite, hot favorite. I tend to disagree.
Yeah, I understand why you disagree because of the current form that these younger guys have shown, and we waited for them to come into it for a long time. And if you check, actually, Djokovic momentum really dropped with what happened in Melbourne in 2022. He didn't participate. He got deported, and Rafael Nadal, remember, won in Melbourne in 2022. He came back in 2023 to win. And then 2024, Yannick Sinner, got it. With Yannick's form and Alcaraz's form and the prospect of Alexander Zverev always showing that he can compete. There's also my guy, Tsitsipas. Why people say hot favorites is because of the things Djokovic has done, for the sports. And somehow that's his motivation. When he's finding out about this, when he's fighting out against these guys, the media is already saying Novak Djokovic, 10 times Australian Open champion, looking for a record extending 11th. All of those things will build his momentum. Those are the sort of things that will, boost his confidence to get into it. Hot favorite, I think, I join you to say I don't think so. But favorite to win it, definitely, because they love him. They love Djokovic in Melbourne. He loves playing on that surface. And he's the champ with the most trophies from Melbourne. Let's listen to Yannick Sinner. I know he will give Djokovic a run for his money at the Australian Open.
Joseph Atero, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully we'll do this again some other time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. That's Joseph Atero, friend of the house, sports journalist, of course, giving us his thoughts on all the important things in the world of sports. All right. Also, let me yield to you, I guess, That's how far we can go on the show tonight.
Yeah, that's where the curtain falls. So much going on in our world of sports. Cannot wait to see how Enyimba will respond in that game against Al-Masry, and of course, every other thing that will get us talking when we get back to the show next week. That's it. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, it's a wrap here as well. I want to thank Babajide Oreva for his time on the show. Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Thank you so much. I hope Enyimba will get the results.
I hope so too.
Thank
All
you.
right. Before we go, we'll leave you with the highlights from tennis highlights from the Adelaide Open. We bid you to enjoy your weekend. You'll see us again next week. Hopefully, when you do see us, we should be talking about a victory for the Aba Elephants. Enjoy your weekend. I'm Emi Adebayo. See you next week.